Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. You ready for the drama? You ready for the rant? I know I am ready to do it and ready to get it out of my hair and out of my that running space in my brain for way too long. But no, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in for the chatty heart to heart video that many love to hate and many love and many hate. So we do them anyway. They don't get many views, but we do them anyway because they do bring us kind of to a little bit of a, what do you want to call it? Corporate meeting. Have you guys watched some of those? There's this girl on TikTok. God, I love her. You have to look her up if you've ever been in corporate. Her name is Corporate Aaron. Corporate Aaron, and she does these skits on meetings, and they are just so spot on. But anyway, we just kind of have a meeting, and you're all welcome here. If I say hello to people in the chat, it's only because I know them by name, or they may be my customers or my longtime subscribers, but all are welcome here. Let me know how the sound is today. Sometimes I get a little bit of a marled sound with my mic. I think it's working okay today, but no, we're just going to talk a few things over, as the title said. And I thought I had changed the title. I thought Kick My Karma was a little rough, but you know what? I'm feeling a little rough. I really am. I'm feeling a little rough, a little, what is it, morphed into my rough state right now, especially since I just turned into a Karen. Just about. I was this close to turning into a Karen. And again, not a phrase that I made up because that will offend people too. I have gotten a comment that's an offensive comment to Karens, to people named Karen. Beautiful name, by the way. But it is a part of our lexicon now. But anyway, they messed up my food, and I always check my food right there while I get it. When I get it, it's not that they messed it up. They just forgot something, and they charged me for it. And they insisted that they had given it to me. So what happened? I like to order the new double fish burger or the fish fillet. They just started doing the double, and I've always had to have 2 sandwiches, but now they have the double. So I don't like it with cheese, but I do like it with tartar sauce, and I like it with a lot of tartar sauce, and sometimes I even ask for extra tartar sauce because I like to kind of dip my fry in the tartar sauce more than ketchup, right? So I get to the window, and she hands it over. It doesn't have the cheese. I'm super happy about that because that never happens as well. That's really what I was checking for, to see if they had added the cheese. They didn't, so they did that right, but they didn't put any tartar sauce in the sandwich. So they put it in a little cup, and she had already told me I put the extra in a cup. And then I said, when I caught her attention, I said, "You didn't give me the sauce in the sandwich." She goes, "No, you asked for no cheese and you asked for extra." And I said, "Yes, an extra means in addition to, it means added on." And then she argued with me about it. And then she wanted my sandwich back. And I said, "No, I'm not going to give it back to you. I don't want it to run through 3 hands again. I just want you to give me some more tartar sauce." I told my husband, the girl that was waiting on me, she was practically giggling about it, but I thought maybe she was going to pull out her phone and record me. "Hi, Miss Haley. Hi, Bonnie. You're just listening tonight? Well, I'm glad you joined in. Hi, Priscilla. Hey, Liz." So anyway, and then so the manager gets involved. I didn't call the manager. They brought the manager because she wanted the sandwich back. I said, "No, I'm not giving you my sandwich back. I just want you to give me some extra." And she went through the same thing. She reiterated the entire thing again to me and said, "You asked for no cheese and extra tartar sauce. So we gave you the extra tartar sauce." I said, "No, extra means added on in addition to, but you didn't give me the one in the sandwich." And I showed her the sandwich, and it was dry. What would you have done? Do you guys ever check your food at the drive-through, or do you not go to the drive-throughs? I don't blame you. The service has been so bad lately. They forget everything. I always have to check it, and then I have to get mad. But you do check. Yeah, you have to check. They literally, one time they gave my husband over here at Dairy Queen, he ordered a hot dog, chili dog or something. And he opened it up and he looked and he goes, "Look at this. and it was just like a little, I think it just had onions and like a squirt of ketchup. And then when he took it back, he said that the guy that waited on his, I'm so sorry, that was my hot dog. That's the one I had fixed for me. Oh my gosh. So he doesn't listen to me. He will not check the food. He feels embarrassed about it. But I'm telling you, when it's correct, it's a miracle because it's always incorrect. And I've gotten to the point, especially at McDonald's, because I also like to ask for extra for jalapenos when I'm at work. I'll ask for jalapenos on the side, not in the sandwich. I have jalapenos here, so I don't get them because they do charge you for them. What do I do with my soda? They do charge you for them, so I didn't ask for that. But usually they wind up putting it in the sandwich, and then I tell them I don't want it in the sandwich. I want it on the side, and then they want the sandwich back in their hands. So this is like a typical Karen moment for me. I mean, I guess you could call it that, but I do feel like, wow, if you don't check it, you're risking it. You really are. So I've decided that I don't ask for anything extra at the order window. I ask for it when I pick it up. And of course they're going to charge me and they're going to have to redo the system, which is fine because at least 5 times that's the way they've done it. They've done it wrong. They've done it wrong. They've done it wrong. And they always want the sandwich back in their hand so they can, go through 3 different hands, the one in the window, the manager, whomever has to get involved, and then the cook. It's crazy. But anyway, I was telling my husband, I was just waiting for them to pull out their camera and do a little TikTok Karen moment. You don't eat out much, and we don't, and we do. It's in a restaurant. Yeah, the fast food. But even some of the restaurants, they're just ever since the pandemic, I always say the pandemic killed much more than people, much more. Not to mention what it did to the schools. But anyway, small stuff, really. I don't expect it to be correct. Not worth the time. Better use. Oh, no. I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel that way at all, Miss Reba. I feel I earn my money really, really the hard way, like many of us do. And I'm paying for something that I wanted. I didn't enjoy my sandwich. I really didn't even enjoy it because it took so long to get what I needed. It got cold. And so, no, I don't feel that way at all. I'm grateful to have food. Absolutely. And very, very lucky to have a meal. But I don't feel that I'm going to take shoddy service and I'm going to take an incomplete order and I'm not going to complain about it. Now, I don't get ugly and scream. I was exaggerating. Everybody takes me very literally here. It's not literal. That's another reason why we're having this conversation tonight. It's not literal. I was polite, but I was to the point that you're not understanding what I'm saying, and 3 people didn't understand it. Apparently someone doesn't understand the English language, and I'm not saying they were foreigners or any kind of ethnic group or anything like that. They weren't. And even if they were, I would never insinuate that. But what I'm saying is you don't understand what the word extra means. The word extra means in addition to, and you're charging me for it. You charge me 45 cents for it. So you're darn tootin' I'm going to say something. No, I'm not going to take it home and just eat what I don't enjoy. That's not the way I feel about it. Yeah, just do it right. No, they argue with you. Many times they want to argue. It's so easy to amend something and just say, I'm sorry, I'll fix it. Let me get you another one. But I'm telling you, it comes to the point where I have to be proactive, and now I don't order it. I order it when I pay because I know they're going to make that mistake because it goes through to, I guess, from the microphone to the gentleman or whoever's taking the order to plugging it in. And sometimes they yell the order to the people. I don't know how that works, how the McDonald's system works, but I know it's very systematic, but it's very wrong in many ways. When you go off the menu a little bit, it's like the system doesn't work. Has anybody read the book, The Peter Principle? It's a classic book. It's been translated in many languages. I urge everyone to get it. Get your copy. I found it at the antiquing when I went with my husband, little paperback. It's called The Peter Principle. And it's all about how systems reach a point where they are no longer effective, whether it's your promotion to, let's say you were in an assembly line back when we had jobs in America. You were in an assembly line, you were trained, you were fantastic at your job. You were really, really good at it. So you got a promotion, but you know nothing about handling people. You know nothing about making a schedule. You know nothing about making people accountable. So you fail at your job. You've been promoted to the point where you fail at your job. They go into accounts like that in that book, and I heard about it. It's part of our lexicon, right? The Peter Principle. Many people haven't heard of it though. I asked a colleague if she had heard of it, and she's probably late 50s, and she'd never heard of the book, never even heard the term. Well, it's a very common term, and it holds true not just for service workers, or it goes all the way to the upper echelons of the president of the United States. They are just promoted and promoted and promoted, and they want to go to the next level and to the next level. And there's always, usually, very commonly, a level of incompetence. And they relate a story in that book, an interesting, really, and I can so relate, a very interesting story. Now, this book, of course, was written in the early 70s, I believe, or late 60s. And he talks about a girl or a young teacher getting hired for a special education classroom. And back in those days, they had other terminologies for the children that are in those classrooms, very low cognizant intelligence, very challenged, intellectual challenges. So this teacher decided to eschew and not use a cupboard full of puzzles and clay and, all these busy work things that some kids do need. They do work on fine motor and everything. She decided to teach them how to read and write. And she taught them how to read and write. She had a fantastic, successful year. And the principal came in and said, I'm sorry, but, we had just ordered these and you didn't even use them. And they just went to waste. You just wasted our funds. So we don't need you next year. They fired her. So that is the system at Peter Principal level. The last 2 times you've gone to Tim Hortons and ordered candy cane hot chocolate, and it was normal hot chocolate, but they charged us for the candy cane hot chocolate. Exactly. I don't understand. I've never understood people who say, I don't complain. My husband is one of them. And he wouldn't even check the accounting on a check in a restaurant. He would never, ever do it. He just thought it was crass, and he would never do it. He learned a few times that people will purposely, I caught one purposely adding on 2 things. And I could tell we were the only ones in the restaurant. Where did she make up this, these new 2 orders when we had just gone in there for an appetizer and 2 drinks, and that was me and my daughter. So, and then there's accidents. We're human. We do accounting. Many people do it right on a pad, and we make mistakes. But if we're just going to accept every mistake, what's the point? Why can't that person learn something? Why can't you learn something? Why can't we all just realize that people are not going to keep going to your restaurant? I stopped going to certain restaurants because I didn't like the service. I didn't like that everything was always wrong or everything was cold. Half the food was cold, half of it was hot. I just didn't go. Is it better for them to not know that? Is it better for the manager not to address the issues? I don't think so. Everyone rises to the level of their own incompetence. Absolutely, absolutely. So if anybody hasn't read that book, I encourage you to get it. It's such an insight into society and the systems that we go through and that I still see today in my school. And it's like, oh, that was the 60s, that was the 70s. No, society innately is still the same. We can call it this, we can call it that, we can be PC, we can be afraid to use this term these days. We don't no longer use the R word like they did in that book, but the idea is still the same. The teacher was fired because she didn't use the thing. Then they made another story in the book about a teacher who was fired because she taught ahead, so that the 3rd grade teacher who was going to get these students from 2nd grade had basically nothing to teach for the first semester because the other teacher had, maybe inadvertently or just because they were learning so much, learned a little bit more from 3rd grade from 2nd. So she was fired too. These were all true stories that he relates in the book. So I don't know. What's the book title? It's called The Peter Principle. And it is a absolute solidified lexicon in our vocabulary. If you'll just Google the Peter Principle, and it means rising to the level of incompetence, and how our systems eventually, because they just have to work it this way. Like I said, there's a system at McDonald's, and if it's off, if you order something extra and it just drops the whole thing. It's like the guy who can't give you change because he already put in 201 and he doesn't know how to count back if you give him the penny. It's that's basically it. Yeah, the Peter Principle. And it was named after, I guess, the gentleman who studied the ideas and the notions in the book. Very, very interesting. Let me see what else y'all are doing here. Patricia, Reba, welcome all. I so appreciate you all being here. And you reach maximum ability. I believe so, absolutely. And Ladybug says she's read one of the books, one of her favorites, on business and corporate in any business. Absolutely. And that take a look at that wonderful TikToker. She may be on YouTube too. Many of them share their videos to YouTube, but her name is Corporate Erin. And oh my God, she did one the other day where she was having to fire someone who was literally on an incubator. And she parodies. If you don't like parodies and you're easily offended, don't watch it. I was blackballed and blocked by many here because I found a video very funny and made a comment, and now I've been blocked and blackballed for it. So if you're easily offended and if reality makes you laugh and doesn't offend you, watch it, because it's very, very true. Very, very funny and true. And she's very talented, a very talented comic. And her name is Erin, Corporate Erin. The last 2 times we've gone. Okay, we told you about Hortons. I don't think we just got a new coffee place. Gosh, I forgot the name of it. It's very popular though. It's a little bit more expensive than even Starbucks though. And I love McDonald's, don't get me wrong. I go there every morning for my 59-cent coffee. Excellent coffee. Nobody makes coffee better than McDonald's. Much better than Starbucks. I also, I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. That's a good place. But usually when I go to Dunkin' Donuts, it's because I'm going to get a nothing bagel. I mean, an everything bagel. I always call it a nothing bagel. I get a bagel. The other day I stopped because it was one of my students' birthdays. So I got him a sprinkle donut. He ate it in about 2 seconds. Nobody even got to see it. Whoops. Nobody even got to see it because I handed it to him while we were having our morning meetings that we have. And by the time I looked, it was gone. So I don't stop there very often, but they do have good coffee, but there's nothing like the McDonald's. And yeah, I get my coffee every morning. I used to make it at work. I used to make my own coffee. I had a coffee pot. You guys may remember my Vlogmas. I used to make coffee every morning and show it in my Vlogmas. Those videos I did during Christmas. I did one every day during Christmas. I won't do them this year. But because of a student that I have who's very sensory driven and he tears up my room, he throws every book. I don't even have bookcases anymore. I put them just in boxes under my desk. I don't have books. We normally have like a little library in our room. Don't have that because he's very sensory driven and he just needs to be tearing things up and throwing things. And he would get all of my appliances and turn them on and off. He would fill them with water. He literally walks on the stove. And so we had to cover all of that up. So everything's kind of on hold till we get a little bit of a grip on what we're going to do with that particular student. So now I have to stop and get my coffee. And I tell Robert not to make me a pot every morning because it just, I don't want to trouble him to do that. I'd rather just stop there. Yeah, I did that every day, the Vlogmas. It was a lot of fun. I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could do a video every day. And it was intense. I would stay up till 11 almost every night. And some of them were going up at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but I did do one every single night. So much fun. And nobody watches. Absolutely nobody watches. It's like 1/10 of my normal viewership. So it's a lot of effort for little return. though it was very pleasurable to do. And same thing kind of here with the heart to heart. Some people don't watch, but it's okay. Some people really do like it. So you watched, Lois? It was fun. I may do a couple of videos shopping. I do want to go back to Bearings. Remember that really nice store over on Westheimer that always has beautiful designer jewelry, designer crystal. I mean, just amazing, amazing things. Not to mention gourmet foods and coffee. They have a huge array of coffees from all over the world, and they'll grind them for you, or you can buy them fresh, beans. You watch those too as well, Bonnie? Hi, Miss Sarah. How are you? So I'll probably do a few of those videos. Uh, just a Christmas theme video. Maybe I'll do some shopping. I do need to go to Macy's and do some shopping over there. That's the only time I go to department stores. Let me see what Lucky says. 46 people are watching now, but there are only 21 thumbs up. So let's make sure we give her a thumbs up. That's so sweet, Lucky Crow Jewelry. Thank you so much for reminding people. Yes, if you're enjoying the video, if you like heart to hearts, if you like chatty videos, if you like just little, what did I call them before, town meetings, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Oh, Bearings is so nice, isn't it? During Christmas they just have such unique gifts and everything. I bought a lot of gifts there. I bought a lot of little coffees and exotic honey, things like that you don't buy for yourself pretty much. I mean, I don't go in there and buy all kinds of stuff. I love good coffee too, but I get it at HEB. I like the Texas pecan coffee. That's the one I get, but I like going in there for, especially for people that have what they already need, or don't really care, or they're hard to buy for. I bought everything there. Not to mention the ornaments were so cute. Hmm. But anyway, I was going to talk today about the Karens of YouTube. Okay, I have been on here a long, long time, and I don't want to make this always a rant video, though I know some of you love it. But I am the kind of person that I've come to realize that I don't really believe anybody who says, "Oh, just delete and block, just delete and block, just to ignore it, don't fret." And I try not to. But like I was telling my husband about, and I read him all those comments in my last video, and he says, "Have you ever wondered why they never say the term drama king? They only say drama queen." He says, "Women can be so dramatic, and they really, it's like they like to find," and I'm generalizing, he can be a sexist if he wants to. Okay, it's his business. I don't care. But it's like they like to find a problem. They found a problem with the fact that my coworker found a piece of jewelry on the ground and handed it to me as a gift. Not when she found it. Actually, this was a very interesting Friday for me. I won't go into details, but it was a trauma. There was a trauma in the school. There was a lot of problems in the school in my realm that I had to address that came at me from different authorities, let's say. So when I went out to talk to my coworker for the end of the day, pretty much, because she has a duty that I don't have. I have a different duty, what we do after school for 20 minutes. And I went to tell her about the situation and that I needed for her to go talk to someone or whatever. But then someone else was there and he said, "No, she doesn't have to do that. We've addressed it." Da, da, da. Anyway, and that's when she handed it to me. So it was very interesting because I was approached with a very, very negative vibe from, I guess, from about 2 o'clock on. I go to my lunch very, very late. I go at 2. This time I went at almost 3. So I was coming in at the end of the day from my break and my planning time. And that's when this happened. So then now people are like, "Well, you should have, she should have, and it should have been addressed this way. You should have gone to the police and made a report and waited 30." I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they do in their country. But so basically it was a moral call, basically a moral lashing, like a moral lashing to me and to my coworker. And I was trying to get across that I live in a city of almost 3 million people. I don't even see policemen, actually. I know where the police stations are, but they would literally laugh me out of that precinct. They would laugh me out of that precinct, and if I were to attempt to say, "I found this little necklace with a cross on it. Can you make a report? And, can we find it?" It's just there's no logic there. So then I said, "No, that's not really." It's an interesting notion, maybe in the little island where you live, or the little country where you live, or whatever, but not here. But that's not to say that the U.S. are a bunch of derelict, unethical, unscrupulous people. No, it depends on the situation. And then someone said something about a wedding ring, and I will tell you about an engagement ring recovery. Maybe if it was a wedding ring and it was engraved and so forth, maybe if it was in front of a restaurant, you could have gone in, da 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 da. So it was in the ground. I don't know what grounds, actually. I really don't. But I know that she knows, and I know that she's an adult, and I know that she knows jewelry, and I know that she knows what she was doing. And there's no reason for me to sit there and tell her, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that? Or for somebody to tell me that and then pull out things like karma, not cool. And then I think I said, no, that's not how we do it, or whatever. That's not how it's illogical. It's finders keepers, basically. And then, of course, someone said, finders keepers sounds so elementary, and, just ridicule. And I was going to about go and say, well, actually, some of the most important lessons in life are learned in elementary. Many things. There's even a book, All the Things We Need to Know in Life We Learn in Kindergarten. But it's just like tit for tat. And I just, like my husband said, don't even let it sit in your head. Why do you even do that? You can't explain to people from different cultures and different cities and they don't know, your experience, or whether you're an honest person, or what you've done when you have found stolen. I actually found a wallet, and I was telling him that. He said, "Yeah, you're telling me, and you're telling me like you think you need to explain to me your morality, and you don't have to." And then I said, "Remember that time I found that wallet? I found a wallet in front of a pizza place. I didn't go back in the pizza place. I looked in the wallet. There was a lot of money in there. I thought to myself, if there is an ID in there, I will mail it." And that's what I did. Because to me, I thought like, well, the money's probably not as important as her ID and her credit cards and everything. So that's what I did. That was a couple of years ago. Now, if I would have gone into the business, there was like, well, it's a strip, first of all. So don't know if it was Pizza Hut, the bank, or the insurance place, or the Chinese place. Where did the wallet come from? I just know that when I went to get into where I was going, it was on the curb, but that was me, and that was not her, and that was not the situation. So I just don't understand how everyone can come in with their judgments of where they sit and their life experience and their policeman in their corner. I don't have that luxury. And I even said in my thing, and I kind of talked about it in my auction yesterday, and I apologize for hijacking my own auction, but the comments were coming in while I was doing the auction, and it really perturbed me quite a bit that people were still arguing about this. I have not seen, and this is not an exaggeration, but I have not seen a police officer in my city of almost 3 million, and I commute to it every single day. I live in the suburbs, but I have not seen one when I commute for at least 4 years. Ever since defund the police, ever since the riots, ever since all of the turmoil that is our country today, they are few and far between. And I guarantee you they would have laughed at me if I walked in there with a little chain. Oh, and then they throw, oh, it's a cross. Like, it's even a cross. Like, okay, what are you saying? That I'm Dracula now or something? I mean, what is that? Why are people so vicious? Exactly. It's just incredible. But yet I could easily say things like, and this comes back to your ethics, my ethics. A lot of people love fake handbags. They adore them. Many people wear them. They do unboxings here. They show them off. I'm not going to go in there and say, I think, and I do think that selling handbags that are fake, Louis Vuittons, Chanel, whatever they may be, they're all over the place. I think it's theft at the highest degree. It's intellectual property theft. That's my opinion. I'm going to say it right here in my channel, but I'm not going to go into your channel and tell you that you are unscrupulous and then how can you do this and so forth and so on. I've stated it in my videos before, and I've had people go tit for tat with me over it. Well, some people can't afford it. They need to look cute too. Da, 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 da. Well, I can't afford a lot of things too, but I don't fake it out because I think that's theft. That's me. But I'm not going to go judge you for what you do. I'm just not going to buy it. I'm not going to sell it. When I run into a fake Tiffany, I have never sold it. I have always given it away because usually it's not a bad fake. It's usually real sterling and hefty, but I know it's fake. And I'm not going to sit here and perpetuate what I consider intellectual property theft. Yet many people in this community of jewelry sellers, they'll run into it and they will say, okay, well, it is sterling, everyone. Just know that it's fake. And these are, people that believe in God, people that are religious, people that aren't religious, whatever, whatever, whatever. And they're committing what I consider unethical. But I'm not going to go in there and stop her. I'm not going to put her down for doing it. It's so judgmental, but it's my compass and the way I follow things, the way I think that one should respect intellectual property, because they're so easy to say, oh, well, Gucci doesn't need the extra $200 that I paid for a fake one when I could have bought one from Gucci for $2,000. They somehow justify it, but it's not justice to me. It's you're stealing someone's idea, someone's intellectual property. Other things. Oh, I can't even pick up ivory. Do you know that's illegal to sell unless it's 100 years old? Well, actually, no, it doesn't have to be 100 years old. It has to be you have to have certain credentials to sell it, certain documentation. But I'm not selling it. It came in a bag, yet you're going to judge me for that. Or, it's just on and on and on. When I did the unboxing with the ring from Mia, the piece was very vintage and very beautiful and very expensive, and it literally slid out of the box onto a leather. This is leather on my desk, and the thing popped up. It was time for it to pop off. It was vintage. Someone actually took umbrage to that. That was your fault. You dropped it. Oh my gosh. I was opening the box. I did not drop it from the top of my stairs to the bottom of my ceramic floors. But yet, we go on and on and on and on. There is deciding what is right for you, and that is absolutely right. I'll make our own ethics and guidelines. We're living our lives. We lead, for example. By example, exactly. When I don't see the difference, I don't sell it. Yeah, I just can't do it. But I can give it away. I don't mind giving it away. Somebody who I think would appreciate it and wear it and whatever, that's them. I just don't. Because I just don't, I don't feel it's right. We make a big deal. Oh, I designed this T-shirt and now everybody's stealing it and copying it, and they're selling it on Amazon. But I'm the one that designed it. I know that's happened to creators here on YouTube, and they make a big deal about it, and it is a big deal. It's a very big deal when somebody does it, but it happens all the time. But China runs on fake iPhones over there. They literally have fake iPhone stores, but they turned a blind eye, right? I don't know. Some people see a very big difference. Some people don't. What's your desired outcome from sharing this particular story online right now? Johnny, it's just a chat. I don't expect anything really. It's just a rant. I just like to do that once in a while. I just like to rant and just let people know what kind of comments I get ever since I started the channel. That's all. Everything from even doing giveaways. I gave some giveaways, I don't know, 8 years ago. I did a jar for an answer that could have been 3 different answers. The first one was correct. Someone literally made a video about it, that I was dishonest, that I didn't see this person come in with her answer. Literally made a video. She literally entitled it Thelma's Troll. I think she since took it down. But this is a conversation, Johnny. That's what this is. There's no vigilantiness or anything like that. This is just a conversation. I'm just letting you know how I feel about things and wanting to know how you feel about things. And if you want to share your opinion, I appreciate the question. As a native artist, that happens to me and my other native friends consistently. They even steal our photos. That is really, really horrible. Yeah, I know that does happen a lot. And it used to happen with eBay. People would steal their other people's photos. And I don't know if it's really stealing for that. I mean, it's courtesy at least to ask if you can if you can use the same photo, especially if you bought it from that person, maybe sometimes. But they stop that a lot. They put little watermarks on them now and everything. But yeah, they certainly do. And yeah, or when they pass off, the things that are made in India and China as Native American, and they pass it off at retail level. And then of course it happens even more with reseller level. But, I just think it's something that we should check ourselves. That's my point. That's my point, Johnny, that we should check ourselves on what we're doing before we rant or we put a negative comment and get people to kind of go at each other for whatever reason. It's like, what's your point of putting that question? Not yours, Johnny, but the persons that were putting them in my channel. Like I said, what would you propose? One of them said what they said about the police, which is a ridiculous notion. Um, Another one said something about leaving your phone number, but with whom? There was no man. It was on the ground. Oh, but let me tell you the story about the engagement ring, just so you can see the juxtaposition before I forget, because I promised I was going to tell this story. But because, things do happen. But I lived in a much smaller town. I lived in Corpus, which was, I think it's 300,000 population right now. Much smaller town when I was in high school. I think I was already going to be a senior. Well, I had a boyfriend who bought me an engagement ring without even asking me to marry him, but he bought me an engagement ring. And I was wearing it one day and I was eating, I don't remember with who, but I was eating at the Pizza Hut. Remember the Pizza Hut used to have really good pizza and all that pasta and everything. I was eating at the Pizza Hut with somebody, and then I was wearing, I think, some Vidal Sassoon jeans, really tight jeans. I mean, they were tight. You remember? I think they called them pencil jeans. Yes, I lived in Corpus Christi. Yes, yes, over in the coast by the Gulf of Mexico. I went there for my last 3 years of high school. I was raised in San Antonio, born in Corpus, raised in San Antonio, and I've lived here in Houston since 82 or 80, yeah, about 81. Pizza Hut was so good, wasn't it? Well, I was eating there, and I think it was with a friend or I don't remember, but I know I had to pay, so it couldn't have been my mother because she would have been paying probably. I was still in high school. But I reach into my pocket, those super tight, dark, navy almost Vidal Sassoon, or I think it was Vidal Sassoon. Yeah, those were the jeans. Oh my gosh. I was reaching into the pocket to get my money out, and I couldn't get it in because it was a solitaire. Speaking of solitaire, Robert just found this fantastic opal ring at the Goodwill. He went back to that Goodwill and he found, I think he said it's 10 karat gold for $10. Don't ask me where that Goodwill is. It's a secret. It's Robert's secret. Anyway, I reached in there and I couldn't reach into the pocket because they were so tight. So I took the ring off. I took it off, put it on the table. I guess I got my money out and I went to pay. I went to pay. It stayed there. And then I got home and I don't know when I realized, I guess when I was home, it was too late for me to just walk back in, right? I realized I had left my engagement ring, a nice carat ring on the table. And I thought, oh, I was so upset. It was gold. It was diamonds, It was an engagement ring. And I thought, what could I do What can I possibly do to get it back? How can I let people know I lost this ring? Well, people used to read the newspaper back then. I don't know when was the last time you held a real newspaper. I haven't held one in my hand since they shrunk it down. They used to be really big like that and thick. Remember the Sunday paper, Sarah? Oh my God, you couldn't even carry it. Do they even sell it anymore? I never see the guys selling it anymore. But anyway, this was in Corpus. It was smaller paper, but it was still a newspaper. People would read them back in the 70s. And I thought, I'll put an ad in the paper. That's what I'll do. That was pretty smart of me for being in high school, I think. hmm So I put an ad in the paper and I said, lost a diamond ring at the Pizza Hut on, I don't know, Ocean Drive or South Padre Island Drive. I don't remember what the address was. Well, I get a call. I think it ran for like 2 weeks. I don't even remember. I don't think I paid very much either. Or was it a free ad? Because I didn't even have a checking account. I don't know how I paid for it, but it ran. I get a call from a lady and she says, I think I found your ring. And I said, oh my gosh, really? And she says, yeah, but you're going to have to come to my office and describe it to me. I said, okay. So, you love this. I know, I did too. And like I said, now the newspaper here in Houston charges for the online version. It used to be free. For a while, it was free. Now everything's paid. So I don't pay for it. It's all fake news anyway. But no, I like the local news though. Yeah, that's usually pretty decent. But anyway, I show up at her office, which was the local college. It was Del Mar College. And it was my first visit to a college. I was still in high school, so it took me a while to get in there. And she had a really nice office and degrees all over the place. And then she said, "Yeah, I found this ring. Can you describe it for me?" And I said, "Well, it has a diamond, and it had like a little brush. Remember the 70s? Everything was kind of a brush design, well, almost like ridges, almost like Lay's potato chip ridges on the band. So it was a really nice band. Then it had a little swirl. And then on the swirl, it looked like it should have had I guess it was to attach. You know how I think they're called gimbal rings or something, the rings that attach. Well, I think it was supposed to have that part later if I ever married him. But she said, yep, that's it. Here it is. So I recovered my ring. I could not believe it. But that's a really wonderful, miraculous thing to happen. It really, really is miraculous. That couldn't occur today. I don't think that would occur today. I really don't. It's just insane. Silly putty. Oh, the cartoons. Yeah, remember the silly putty in the cartoons. But that's what I was thinking about when someone suggested, well, it would be different if it was an engagement ring and it was engraved or something. But again, it's all different because it wasn't found by me and it wasn't found, in a department store bathroom or something. That would be different. That really would be different. But again, I'm just making this video to just help people to kind of think about what you're saying before you accuse everyone of everything. Same thing with the jewelry jars that I found with my beautiful friend Becky. We've gone several places together now. I think we've already had 3 dates. But one of the ones we went to, she found 2 jewelry jars. She doesn't buy jewelry jars. She doesn't like jewelry. I even told her in the video, don't you want to buy this jewelry? She said, I want you to open it and you to buy it. And I bought those jewelry jars and there was a lot of gold in there. And I've had so many people to where I've even had to put in some code words in there so they're not even shown anymore because I really get tired of being told, you should do this. You should have done that. You should do it this way. When you sell it, you should do all of this. First of all, I'm not selling it. I'm keeping the jewelry. Second of all, you don't know what I've shared with Becky. Third of all, you don't know what she's shared with me. Fourth, you don't know our relationship. So why are you inserting yourself into the situation? That's what irks me. That's what I'm talking about today, is that people are just so quick to say what I would do, what I would not do, to the point where they'll say things like, karma's going to get you, da, 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 but I'm a Christian and it had a cross. And First of all, I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in chakras. I don't believe any of that stuff. You believe it, you're fine. You don't believe it, you're fine too. I believe that life has ups and downs. No matter what your religion is, no matter what you do in life, you're going to experience bad and you're going to experience good and you're going to cry and you're going to laugh. And it doesn't matter whether you turned in a little gold jewelry or not, or whether you frivolously think that there is some way to locate that, and you really think that you need to lecture people on the internet. You found $40 on the ground at a concert, and I looked around to see if someone in the front of me had dropped it, but they didn't, so I kept it. That's nice. One time I was with a friend. So funny how things sometimes just come up. I was with a friend. I don't know where we were going, but I was the passenger. And I just look over to the ground. It's $20 on the street. And I picked it up. I got out of the car and picked it up. It was right there while she was at the light. And things happen like that. And I've lost so many things as well. But now we just get so many questions. Like, speaking of the videos, though, the next couple of videos, I'm honestly rethinking the reselling tips, because I did the one on Whatnot. Apparently, people have not flown to Whatnot as they should, or not interested in the tips that I offered. Didn't get very much traction. So I'm thinking I may just do another tier of my memberships, maybe to kind of do some one-on-one coaching, whether it's on selling or presentation or even video presentation, anything like that. That's what I think I'm going to try to do for the new year, is to be able to do that, because it's I think it'll be more niche that way, so you don't have to watch the videos if it's not your thing, but those who do. Thank you, Becky. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, yeah, lots and lots of judgments on that. But again, like I said, there's always that, and like my husband says, my husband's a stoic. Absolutely. I wish I was more like him. But he says, "So what? So what? Move on." But I wanted to bring it up because that's just the way I am, and then I'll just try to make it a "so what" moment. But I'm not gonna lie, it does hurt when people are judgmental that way, and they're judgmental about everything. I can't pull out a Buddha from a bag, somebody's gonna say I'm cursed. I can't pull out a cross with a crucifix, because somebody else will say, "Oh, my cross doesn't have the body of Christ on it. My cross does this, my cross does that." What gives us the notion that just because we think it, we have to say it? I don't understand people like that. Just because we're thinking it doesn't mean we have to say it, especially if you're going to offend someone who does like the rosary, or does like the crucifix, or does like the cross with the purple drape on it. I mean, why? With all of the horrible religious wars that are around us, why are we picking our own here? Why are we picking our own? We should just be happy. Find some happiness. I really feel that people who do that on the internet, in someone else's comments, not doing it here as I am, whoever asked that question of the point of my video. The point of my video is I want to make a video that's chatty. That's the point of my video. And I want to address what I'm feeling about my comments and some of my subscribers who are so judgmental to not only me, but to things that I find, things that I that I share, stories that I relate. It makes me almost not want to do lives at all, not except for this one, because sometimes I share right out of my heart, or like I just shared my story about McDonald's, and somebody, "Oh, that's not worth it to me." Well, okay, that's fine. It's not worth it to you, but please don't come on here and tell me that I'm this and that. It's me. I feel like sharing what I experience and what I think. And I think we should be very, very nice to the people that are working at restaurants. But I don't think we should gulp down food that is subpar and not what we ordered and paid for. No. And I will never feel that way. Oh, she did? What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting thing too. I haven't gotten too many comments on the sideways cross. I've had a few pieces. I had one that not too long ago that was really pretty. It had the crosses all the way across. But, someone's always gonna find something to do, something to say. The other day when I was at the live at the garage sale, I said, what did I say? Something about, oh, that I'm not politically correct, that I will sell an Obama t-shirt, I will sell a Biden t-shirt, and I will sell a Trump t-shirt, basically is what I'm saying right now. But this was a little rainbow shirt, a rainbow pin. So I said, I'm in commerce, right? I just sell it. I don't care. I'm in my world and I care about my little world. And she says, oh, so the whole world's going to burn up around you while you just stay in your own little world. Lady, I'm not being literal, honestly. I do take care of more than my little world. It's just something I said. Or you can't say, oh my God. You can't say, oh my God anymore. You have to say, oh my gosh, because somebody's going to get offended. I used to know a lady who would say, oh, no, what would she say? How would she say it? Something like that. That's my God or something like that. I didn't sit there and correct her. It's a bit like a contract. To me, a purchase is an agreement of what's bought. That's right. That's right. Yeah, a lot of it comes from envy, Cat. I used to think that too, but I think it's not so much envy. I think it's just people that they have to find a problem. There's not enough problems in the world. They got to find one. They got to make one up. It's like the stuff that's going on right now where you can't even express your own opinion on places like Facebook and some places on YouTube. People are silenced. People are, and I'm talking about big YouTubers, silenced and blocked, and because their belief is not the belief of others, or it's not the popular notion, or you can't say you're a Republican because you're a hater. You can't say that you voted this way because you're a hater. You can't, it's just so polarizing and so awful. And that's one of the reasons I'm truly turned off to politics right now. I don't know if I'll change. I used to be so politically active, you would not believe it. I've probably seen every president in person when they come to Houston, whether they're Republican or Democrat, because I always feel like I'm witnessing history. I've seen Hillary, I've seen Obama, I've seen Trump. I've seen them in person because I feel like I'm witnessing history. And that's the way I felt about politics. These days, I feel very much outside and very disillusioned. And it's because people have taken it to teams. Some people even refer to it as our team, their team, hate team, love team. Well, let's look at where we are right now. Let's look at where we are right now. If your team won or your team lost, we're pretty much all in the same boat complaining about McDonald's, which is now $18. It's super expensive. It really is. Miss Lois, I don't blame you to go into the restaurants. I was figuring out the other day, I spent just as much at a fast food place for it wasn't even a burger, it was a hot dog, that I had spent at a sit-down white tablecloth Chinese restaurant. That's when I decided, you know what? I'm going to start eating my school lunches, which are not bad and they're nutritious, and or brown bagging it. When I had to pay $12, $15 with a drink for a hot dog and a drink. And then I had only paid, I think, $11 for the wonderful Chinese restaurant. And yeah, so we're fighting amongst ourselves for nothing. It's ridiculous. We've been silenced by these fault finders. I have many different types of friends on Facebook and in real life, far right, far left, libertarians, etc. I'm afraid to say anything political or religious. Exactly. I totally had to clean my Facebook. I just had to clean it. I used to have like 200 friends, a lot of acquaintances and former coworkers, and they just were at each other's throat. Everybody was a, armchair Kissinger, and I just got sick of it. I had to just cut it out. Now it's all rainbows, lollipop, unicorns. That's all I post. I'll occasionally put a picture of my grandkid, may show you something, may comment on somebody's post, but it's down to 50 relatives, and that's it. 50 relatives, and even they get on my nerves sometimes. Even they have been blocked a few times, or just, what do you call it, disabled their feed, so I don't have to argue with them or get, irked. You stop using Facebook during COVID. It was too awful. Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I really use my professional page more in my group page than I do my personal. I do go on the personal occasionally because my son posts pictures of the kids in there a lot and their vacations or whatever they're up to. So pretty much for that. It really is. I mean, can you believe that? They make us actually lose our family and friends, the politicians do, and the media. That's what it has come to. That's the power we have given them. So much less a little shrimpy little channel like mine. I mean, that gets on my nerves. You can imagine. You can imagine why I avoid all news. And that's another thing we were going through that day, Friday. We got some horrible news about a former student that, and it didn't even involve the other trauma. It was just trauma after trauma in school. And someone was just showing me the news story in his phone. Our coach was showing it to me. Did you hear about this? I said, no, I don't watch the news. Occasionally, I get my news from somebody saying, oh, did you hear that, that Matthew or whatever, or somebody from so-and-so died. It'll come out on a chat in a YouTube auction or on TikTok. That's where I get the latest, or there was this horrific, natural disaster or whatever, but I don't tune into the news. But it was a horrible thing that happened with our former student of ours. And I was taken aback by that too on Friday. But that goes to show you, someone was showing it to me because I avoid the news at all costs. Like I was saying last night at my auction, I was watching Mary Tyler Moore. One of my wonderful followers on Facebook. I do auctions on Facebook in case anybody's interested in jewelry, and just happened upon this very chatty, annoying to some video. I do the auctions on Facebook and I do the auctions on Whatnot on Wednesdays. All that information is in the description below. Of course, we do jewelry all the other times, but once in a while we'll do a heart to heart, and we love to do lives. And someone sent me a video of Mary Tyler Moore's jewelry auction at Sotheby's. I don't remember your name, and I'm sorry, I apologize, because I get a lot of messages and I just, kind of read it, but I did click the video and I enjoyed it so much. She did have the twin Peretti bone cuffs. Those went up for sale. Her husband was in the video. Her husband was about, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years younger than her. I think he was quite a bit younger than her. She had a rough childhood as well. Anyway, wound up watching a documentary as well. She had some very beautiful jewelry. She didn't have a whole, she was no Elizabeth Taylor with a closet full, but she had some beautiful pieces. And then I got on this rabbit hole of Mary Tyler Moore, and I watched her old 70s shows. And I was telling my husband that I didn't used to watch it. When it was popular, I was a teenager, way too busy to stay home and watch TV. But I was too busy being a teenager and losing my engagement ring on the table of Pizza Hut. And I wasn't really, I never really considered myself engaged. This boyfriend of mine was just a little too much of everything really quickly. But anyway, I did have the ring though. Oh, so I'm going to be judged on that one. Just watch. I'm going to get some comments. You accepted an engagement ring from someone you weren't going to marry? Well, actually, we were probably going to get married if my mother hadn't said, what the heck's wrong with you people? You are not getting married at 17. But I was wearing the ring and I lost it. But anyway, I was watching her show and I loved it. It made me laugh so much. I watched it yesterday afternoon. I watched a little bit more with Robert. And he was like, gosh, this is so funny. This is just true comedy. And it is. It's just no political, agenda, no didactic story lines, no writers that have agendas. And it was just funny. And I loved watching the fashions. That was just hilarious. You went to a dinner party and was given a list verbally of topics not to bring up. That's fantastic. That's fantastic, though. It's good to know. But, these days, you kinda know. I mean, I've had to literally and I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. I was at a party once where somebody said, "Well, that's in the South." And okay, so Texas sometimes is considered the South. I guess it is when you think about all the historical things, right? But in the South, okay, it's got this little reputation, which is so unfounded in many ways, as it's not the only state that has had problems. The North just has a little way different way of dealing things. But anyway, but like they said it like it's the most intolerant place, and it's not. And it's progressive in many ways. And if it's conservative in many ways, it is conservative in many ways. Deal with it. But why do you insult someone who's from Texas and they're from Texas? Why are you saying that? So that's a good idea, Kat. I think it really is. We've lost our freedom of speech. You have to be so careful in what you say nowadays. I would have mentioned every band subject. You're one of those guests that I do like to invite to parties. No, we used to do play groups, and I guess, well, kind of like a lunch ladies dinner group in my neighborhood too. And there was one of our neighbors. I just found her very interesting. She always wanted to talk about. She was just very outspoken, and everyone would say, "Don't invite her, please. I'm not going if she goes." But she was also very nice, and she was a great cook. And I feel like if you handle it with tact and steer the conversation, sometimes things can be okay. Three ladies get into a heated discussion about how to oh my gosh, don't even go to orchids. Do you know that my husband has an orchid that is going on 11 years old, and it is not in orchid soil? We got it at my late aunt's, not the last one I just lost. I've lost so many wonderful aunts, but another aunt that I think she's been gone 3 years now. Well, when she turned 80, I believe, they gave her a big bash. Her daughters gave her a beautiful, beautiful party, and they had orchids at every table for the centerpieces, and it was just beautiful, beautiful dinner party. So we all got to take one home. Everyone, I think theirs lasted maybe a month. My husband's is in a pot this big with, I think, probably 10 buds. Right now, there's 10 buds, and it does not stop. It does not stop flourishing. It's just so wonderful. But I think he's got his own way of watering. He keeps it pretty much. He keeps the little saucer. It's always got water in it, always. And it's at the kitchen window, so it's got that sun coming in perfectly fine. But when I told him, that you have that in soil and it's not supposed to be in soil, it's supposed to be in that orchid bark, kind of really dry or whatever. It's like, no, I'm not touching mine. You do yours. That is so funny, though. I think that's fantastic. I have one that's almost 15 and it blooms twice a year and it's huge and I love it. Oh, that's so cute. You should post it on your community tab so we can all see it. That's what he does. And he even called it by my aunt's name. He says, "Don't you touch my," yeah. And I tell him, "You should rotate it. We're supposed to rotate the plants a third or something every time you water it, right? Isn't that what they say?" He says, "No, I will do mine. You do yours." And I have plants everywhere too. I like to rotate my plants. Like right now, I have this one over here. I had that snake one, or what they used to call mother-in-law's tongue. It's probably not called that anymore. But I moved that one over there because that one doesn't need that much light, and this one gets light all day. I have a couple of lamps facing it. So, and this one also is like a succulent, actually. So I think I forget what it's called, but I have another one, something like it, but it's all green. This is variegated, and it's like humongous. Like this is just arms everywhere. You can't keep a plant alive to save your life. Oh, yes, you can. So who won the argument about the orchids? It's so funny. Oh my gosh, but people can get I don't know. They take offense if they're not right. They want to be right. Maybe that's it. That's why they got upset about the orchids. Yeah, what exactly. Well, watch it now because It's very interesting, and she is credited for bringing a lot of things to light. They even bring up terms like women's liberation. Like, when was the last time you heard that? And, that she wore pants to the office, and many people were not wearing pants to the office in those days, and many people didn't even have careers. So she's just such a natural comic and actress. She's fabulous. She was fabulous. May she rest in peace. The politically correct people, says Yana, will gang up on you in the comment section. It's not pretty when it's me. Yeah. Well, if it gets ugly, I'll delete it, but I think there's room for discourse. As long as people don't get judgmental and, like I said, throwing the cross and the karma and all of these words at me, and hey, whatever. I like I said, I think life is to be happy when you can be happy, because you're going to be happy, and then you're going to be sad, and then you're going to be happy, and then you're going to be sad. And that's just the way it is. And it doesn't matter whether you go to a lost and found or not. I really don't think it does. You eat lots of tuna fish from home. Love tuna. Yes, Miss Deborah, it's still awful, and it's going to get that way again. And it's just incredibly, incredibly polarizing. And what gets me more is that people really think they win. People think the common folk will win with the right man in office. And I don't see that happening very often. To me, a purchase is an agreement. Yep. I think some of you, or a lot of it, comes from envy. Let me see if I missed any more comments. If you have any other questions, capitalize it or something. I'm a new seller, and I found your Whatnot video to be incredibly helpful. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I am. Well, let me know in the comments and in the questions when this uploads, what other kind of topics you'd like for me to bring up. I was going to maybe I'll do a video down next time and talk a little bit more about that, because that can happen with any kind of selling venue that you want to do. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to do maybe another tier, or maybe, like I said, a session of coaching for a certain fee or something like that. But I enjoy the videos. I enjoy doing them, but I get a little discouraged when they don't get many views. It takes a lot of nerve to tell someone what they should do. It makes me crazy. Yep. People around here do lost and found on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, well, we do that in our neighborhood for animals, usually. For animals that are lost, for suspicious activity, things like that. But I'm not a part of it. I don't even know where our Facebook. My daughter is. She's in a lot of groups, and when she lost her cat, but he came back. She's used that, and we have, what's there, another one? Make Neighborhood Watch or something like that. That's another group. So I'll look at it in just a minute. Thank you for fixing that. Oh, got to show you the little opal Robert bought at that Goodwill. It's a nice one too. It's small, but it's so pretty. And it's too big on me. He said it was $10. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, you could even see the opalness. It's so sweet. I wish it fit me. Wouldn't that be a beautiful pinky ring? Yeah, he said, I went back to the Goodwill where I got you the jar with the 14 karat gold earrings and all that other good stuff from that last video. And he said, she didn't have any jars, but I made friends. And he does make friends. He's so much more, what is that word? Gregarious than I am. Hi, Miss Kathleen. So that was a good score. And then he found, some fabulous Dreamcatcher looking earrings. They're Mexican. They have big silver, like little plates, and then they have dangly feathers, and they're sterling. Those were nice. Those are the two things he found at the Goodwill today. I went to my Goodwill too, because I actually enjoyed a wonderful recital today from my grandson. my beautiful 7-year-old grandson went to a wonderful retirement home in a very nice part of town and performed there. I think there was 8 students altogether, 8 or 10 students, and I think one adult that take lessons from this particular company. And they put on the most beautiful Christmas show. So that's what I was doing this afternoon. I think it started at 3. And then I ran to the Goodwill that was by there, but they didn't have anything. They didn't have any jewelry that I was interested in. Yeah, so it was wonderful. It was so pretty, and all the ladies were so nice with my grandson. They were showing him all the beautiful decorations because they had, like, inside they had it done up like, well, I've never been to New York in Christmas, but I imagine that they do the windows, you know, how they do the, I guess, Macy's window or whatever. They had it done like that. That was the decoration, like little shopping windows with nutcrackers here, and oh, it was so beautiful. And some of the ladies that were there, residents, were telling my grandson, "You were the best, and you were so good. And can't I have him?" They were just so sweet. It was really, really nice. I love that. It was a nice way to kick off the season. It really was. You don't have jewelry in your Goodwills around Pflugerville and Austin? I know, but I did see another. I saw somebody opening a jewelry jar that was from Texas, and then she said she had gotten it from Goodwill. Christmas is a great time to go to New York City, but so cold. Oh, yes, yes. I don't wanna go in the cold downtown again. I did Chicago once. I was below 0, like 18 below 0 or 13 below 0. That was painful. My husband says, "That's because you should have been at home in front of the fire, not cutting walking through downtown where that wind cuts through the buildings and comes at you like a hurricane." I mean, it was something. It really was. So, I think we touched on all the topics I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think we did. I hope that, that we were able to, I don't know, kinda just realize that, life is really short, and it really is a waste of time to lecture other people about this or the other, and maybe we should just find something to be happy about instead of always complaining about somebody else's, handling of a situation, whether you see it as a finders keepers situation or "I would have done it this way. I would have done that. I am so much better than you" attitude. You missed the Karen talk. We'll watch later. Well, you missed it, but I hope you come back. Okay. And we will talk more about reselling and more tips. Let me know exactly what you want to know about whatnot. I will give you one whatnot tip today. Okay. Because I see it and man, it's so crystal clear. I tuned into someone the other day and I know this lady actually from other auctions. And she had the most horrific, we saw it was her. I didn't have to see her face to know who she was because I recognized her voice. But then she showed her face just for, I think she said she wanted to show her face for whatever reason, but it's not important. But she had the most horrific attitude. She had an attitude of, I am spending time here. I am spending money here. I am not going to give away my jewelry at cheap prices. She already had that attitude, right? So it was so evident in the voice. It's just like when I used to do cold calls for a stockbroker, and one of the first things they taught us in training is to put a smile on your face when you use the phone because it comes through. Uh, your attitude comes through clear, crystal clear, and you could just hear it. It was like a resentment. It was like, I mean, if you read between the lines, she was saying, "You crazy people don't know what the heck you're looking at. You don't even know what it's worth. You should be buying this stuff. You should be begging me for this stuff. I'm giving it to you at a good price." Da da da. Nobody wants to be there. I was there just to observe, honestly. I could not believe my eyes, but I've seen it many times. And I'm going to give you that advice. Always go into a whatnot sale or any sale anywhere where you are your salesman, and you make that person feel welcome, whether they buy something, whether they just came in to say hello, whether they're just there for the giveaway, or they're not going to want to hang around. I almost felt like I should not be here. She doesn't want me here because she doesn't want to start at $20, or maybe she wants to start at 20 instead of 15, or she thinks that everybody starts at $1, and we don't deserve her jewelry, basically. And you could hear it in her voice. So that's the little bit of advice that I want to give you. Smile when you go into a mic. Smile when you talk to people that are there to look at your jewelry. They have come in as your guest. Treat them like guests. Don't treat them like, I wait in line. I have to go hunt this stuff. I have to clean it up. And this was the tone. I have to, I have to research it. I spend hours and hours and hours, and I don't have the luxury of having 5,000 followers. I'll tell you what, she had a hefty, more than me. And I have I have 1,000, about 1,100 over there. That's minuscule compared to, the people who have 20 and 15. And some people don't have even that. Some people have two. I went to one that had 200 followers, and I spent $500 there. I went to another one. She had about 100 followers, and I spent another 50 there. But she had a good attitude, wonderful attitude. She made you feel like you wanted to hang out. And this one, I'm just saying, because sometimes we don't hear ourselves, like, maybe the people that hear this video. Sometimes we don't convey what we want, what we're feeling. Sometimes we do. Sometimes the frustration comes out in our voice, the frustration of not making a sale, the frustration of, I'm into it up to my knees. I've spent so much money. I need to, but I don't want to give it away. It comes through. Yeah. Or and there's a lot of them like that. There are, or they'll say, I don't have this, I don't have that phone. Well, it makes it sound like you're resentful, envious, and then, or I'm not going to bring it here because I know I won't sell it here, or I won't get my money here. Well, then why are you talking about it? Why are you making us feel like a bunch of, what is that word? Canned tuna or something. What is that word? What is that phrase? Chicken liver? I don't know. Making us feel like we're a bunch of deadbeats in here, and we're not worthy of looking at your good jewelry because you don't think we'll buy it. Well, maybe if you presented it with a smile on your face and told us all the wonderful things about it and all the great attributes, and if you have some provenance, give us that too. But don't lecture me about how I am not worthy of looking at your good jewelry, or you spent hours and hours and hours waiting in line to get into a thrift store first thing there, whatever. I don't understand that. Tip of the day. All right, we're gonna let you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Chopped liver. That's what was I saying? Chicken liver. Yes, chopped liver. Like, we're chopped liver. We're not worthy of the gold that she wanted to bring out. There, that's it. It was someone on Whatnot. It was someone on Whatnot. And I see a lot of them like that. I've heard a lot of them like that. I don't think they last long. It's just like anything. If you don't see that it's for the long haul. It's like investing in the stock market, which I never have because I don't have the funds for it. But it's for the long haul. I used to work for a broker. That was a jargon. You don't have the funds to spare and you don't have the time to put in, don't get in it. That's pretty much it. Don't get in it, because it takes a while to build up the momentum. It takes a while to build up the customers. It takes a while for you to feel acclimated and comfortable and put on your salesman hat, and not your woe is me. Why the hell don't these people understand what I'm doing? I'm bringing good jewelry here. Where are the buyers? No, we don't want to hang out with people like that. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. I love y'all. I love being able to rant for no reason. There was no reason for this video except for me to rant. Okay. And a tip of the day. All right. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon. next video. Hi, Jason. Be good. Hi, Anna. Love you.